Hello and what is going on to everybody who is watching this video. That's a very weird intro, but today I am going to be doing the match review of Liverpool against Porto. Well, Porto against Liverpool. Porto 1, Liverpool 5. That is the final score at the end of today's 90 minutes, which was full of an emphatic Liverpool performance. Before I get into this though, I need to apologize first for the length of time between this post and the last post. The truth is that my editing software and my phone has been giving a lot of problems, so that's it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to use it as an excuse because there's always a way you can deal with every situation better. So next time I will deal with it better. Hopefully there isn't a next time though, but you get the point. Very emphatic performance from the Reds today. It was a very good performance all around the side. I was very comfortable watching this, and to be honest, I overrated Porto going into this. I thought it would be a very tough and hard fought night for the Reds, but at the end of the day they came away with a very comfortable win, cruising to a 5-1 victory. Porto, of course, sadly a bit accustomed to defeats at the hands of Liverpool, heavy defeats at that. So yeah, it's kind of a repetition of history, but again, a very comfortable night, very good one for Liverpool fans. Well, I say night, it's a night there, but here it's still like 4 p.m. in Jamaica, so yeah, but there's that. But I think you guys get the point of what I'm saying. Very good performance. Let us move on then to the talking points. The first talking point I want to bring up is the clinicality of the Reds, because to be honest, this is like probably the second or third closest scoreline of all scorelines so far for Liverpool to actually reflecting how the game went this season. Because for most of the games, Liverpool play very well and then waste a lot of chances. The game ends up a lot closer than it needs to be. Prime example being AC Milan, and many other performances. I'm not going to get into that too deeply. So it was good to know that this scoreline justified the Reds' performance. And to be honest, it could have even been 6. There were moments, but I'm very pleased with the clinicality today because I think it's been a huge problem. Liverpool haven't been taking their chances, and as I said, the scoreline becomes a bit less. The scoreline looks smaller than the gap between the team's performances. So today I think it was accurate. Liverpool did well to take their chances and capitalize to dump Porto. On to the second talking point, and I want to talk about Liverpool's improved defense. Now, you could say that Liverpool didn't have much to deal with defensively because we really pinned the Porto back to their own penalty area for the majority of the game. But the difference is that against Brentford we were dominant, yes, but we didn't deal with the counter-attacks very well. The defense was all over the place. It was in shambles. But today, Liverpool really dealt with everything that Porto threw their way. Well, almost everything apart from the goal, but we don't speak about that. Overall, it was a very good defensive performance. They much improved, to be fair, over the Brentford performance. They were a lot more organized. Backline knew what to do, and yeah, apart from that one moment where they fell asleep for the goal, there wasn't anything you could criticize about Liverpool's defense today. So it really pleases me because I was worried about the defense after seeing how they performed against Brentford. But going into the City game, the defense has definitely boosted my confidence in the team a bit. On to the third point then, which I am going to talk about Curtis Jones. Now, this is a weird one because I don't usually point out individuals as talking points, but I think he was just that good. And it's not just that, I think his role today was very interesting, to say the least. His performance today was the definition of a box-to-box midfielder. He dropped into Robertson's space when he went forward, and he needed to cover. He, as we all know, is very involved going forward, extremely involved. So I think it was a very interesting role he played today. So that's why I'm bringing it up as a talking point. And overall, he's just gonna be a cracking player, isn't he? No doubt about that. Let's move on then to the player ratings. Starting with Allison then with the player ratings, and I'm gonna give him a 7. He didn't really have much to do all evening, to be honest. He, of course, didn't keep a clean sheet. That was due to a very good header from a guy whose name I forgot. However, overall, he didn't have much to do. Comfortable on the ball. Played some good passes forward as well. He made a decent save, but overall, not much to do. It's hard to muster up a rating. I feel it would be too harsh to give him a 6, but anything above a 7 would be too generous because he didn't really do much. James Milner. What the hell did I just say? But I'm gonna give him a 7.5. He was decent. Much like most of the team, he didn't really have much to do defensively. He, of course, got a decent assist. Pretty good cross into the box, which I think the keeper could have dealt with a bit better, but it was still a good assist. And I think he was good going forward. 7. He didn't really do. He was hard working, but I wouldn't say it's an outstanding performance. Joel Matip is next, and I'm gonna give him a 7.5. Again, he didn't really put a foot wrong, did he? He was where he needed to be. He read the game well as usual, and Liverpool just didn't have much to do defensively. So Joel Matip, I can't give him anything more than 7.5. Didn't do much special today. He won headers that he needed to. It was a decent performance actually, but I wouldn't say he was a standout because the backline, as I said, didn't have much to do. Virgil van Dijk is the second central defender, though, the left one, and I think he deserves a 7.5, much like Joel. He dealt with what he needed to deal with, which wasn't really too much, to be honest, today, but decent performance. Didn't put a foot wrong. 7.5 for me. Robertson, I will give a 7. He was very lively going forward. He could have gotten an assist, or he bombed forward and opted to shoot. You can understand, but Salah was very frustrated that he didn't get the ball. Overall, I think it was a decent performance. He tracked back when he needed to, but again, not much to do defensively, and he was always looking dangerous, always running. That's something you always get from him. He runs himself into the ground. Today was another very energetic and lively performance. Moving on into the midfield and starting with Fabinho, who I will give a 7.5. Again, I'm gonna say this so much, but Liverpool didn't really have much to defend. So Fabinho, he did, I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm not gonna say he didn't do much because he read the game well, and the reason the backline didn't have much to do was probably because he was so good in the midfield. He broke up every play. He made some good challenges. I remember that one when the guy was dashing down the byline, Brahim Diaz, I think it was, and Fabinho lunged in. I was saying, holy crap, he caught him late, but he actually caught. He didn't catch him. He dragged back his legs, and then Diaz dove, I should say, and he made some very good tackles today. Fabinho is a steady performance again from him. 7.5. Give an 8.5. Moving on then to Diogo Jota, who I'll give a 6.5. He was always running, and that's what I love about Jota. He always does run, and he was getting himself into good positions, but I can't get past that miss. He should have scored a goal or two, but he didn't. A lively performance, but I don't know, he just didn't get that one thing to push him over the line and get further than a 6.5 in my eyes. Always getting himself into the right positions, always giving defenders a headache. He's just lacked that cutting edge and the finishing. Once that improved, you can safely say he was back to his best. But today, a very good performance. He had all the attributes I mentioned plus the goals. So another good performance from Sadio Mane. Today had the goal. 8 out of 10. So that's the starting 11 done and dusted. I'm gonna move on to the substitutes. The first of which was Takumi Mirabido. Didn't come on first, but it's the first one I mentioned, so just go with it. 6. He didn't really do much. He tried, but he didn't really do much. Next, Bobby Firmino, 8. A half-hour cameo, 2 goals, very lively. Displayed his very good skill. Was looking like to get would have been unlucky to not have gotten a goal based on how he performed off the bench. So I will give Firmino an 8. So the third one is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who didn't really do much. I'm gonna give him a 6 because did he really contribute much with the 10-minute cameo? I don't think so. I can't give him anything more than a 6, but then anything less than I can't give him anything more than a 7, but anything less than a 6 would seem very harsh. So I'm gonna give him a 6 because he didn't really have time to impact the game. No, yeah, I'm gonna give him a 6. So the fourth substitute was Divock Origi, who I think deserves a 6. Again, he didn't really have time to impact the game. Didn't really do much. Let's move on. So a substitute who had more time to impact the game, Joe Gomez. He came on along with Minamino and Firmino, but as I said, I'm not doing this in any particular order, so whichever order I want to put them in, you just kind of have to deal with it. So yeah, that's kind of rough stills, but anyway, yeah, decent. I'm gonna give him a 7. When he came on, Liverpool were 3-0 up and Porto tried to attack a bit more. So I think having a centre back playing at right back, it was a bit of a defensive change, especially the fact that he's tall. So he won headers, but overall he didn't do much. So he didn't really do much more than a 7, but less than that would seem harsh. So I'm gonna give him a 7. Next up, I'm gonna speak about the man of the match, who, based on the ratings, you can probably tell. I'm gonna give it to Curtis Jones. Yeah, I think he was that good. He was that involved. So definitely, I think he deserves man of the match for me. I talked about him in a lot of depth in this video because I spoke about him in talking points, player ratings a while ago. Now man of the match, so I don't really have to stretch out the video any longer and waste any more time saying what I've already said. So Curtis Jones, man of the match award, copper chat. I'm gonna hand it over to him. Much appreciated. Yeah, man of the match, Curtis Jones. Don't be afraid to link your man of the match in the comments down below as well. So yeah, that's another thing as well. So that is going to conclude another video. Again, I'm sorry for the interval between this upload and the last, but you know, technical difficulties happen. Deal with it. Alright, no, actually deal with it, because it's kind of my channel getting hurt because of the lack of posts and the lack of views. But like, yeah, I appreciate the support because I've been getting a lot more views than I've expected. Apart from that, have a great day, and don't be shy to comment down below what you thought about the game, or what I thought about the game, if you disagree or agree with what I said. So there's that, and there's also me saying YNWA.